So good day everyone. So this is General Psychology or Psych 111. I'm your professor for the entire semester. I am Professor Daniel Tizenchaga. You can check my profile on Facebook or in the LMS. You can do that just to know me more. So before I make a comprehensive or an in-depth study of what is psychology, because the course is all about psychology. Siyempre, you will encounter here subjects that are somewhat complex, complicated, okay, malalim, medyo mahirap intindihin. But before we do that in my class, I want to somehow you to be familiarized with it, and at the same time, I want you to know that this course is a very interesting course. Siyempre, I need to prove that to you on this video that my course that you're taking, mainly online or mainly face-to-face, is an interesting subject. Kasi if you are not interested in my subject, you will take me somehow for granted, di ba? Kasi hindi naman kayo interesado. Okay? You will not take me seriously or you will not give your full attention to my class because you are not interested. But I'm telling you guys that this subject is very interesting. Why? Okay? So let me give you a scenario. Why is my course so interesting? Let's say, syempre naman sumasakay kayo ng jeep. Okay? Sino bang may sumasakay ng jeep? Sumasakay kayo ng mga public utility transportation, diba? And let's say, there is an instance na tatlo lang kayong pasahero sa jeep at nag-iisa ka. At yung dalawang nasa jeep is magkakilala or magkasama. Then let's say, ito yung jeep, you're sitting in front, they're sitting in front of you, magkatapat kayo. Then somehow, yung dalawang tao na yon nag-uusap. Di ba? But there is a tendency kasi, kahit hindi natin kakilala yung tao na yon, yung mga tao na yon, we listen to the topic of what they are talking about. Diba? And at the same time, hindi lang tayo nakikinig sa topic nila, we also somehow in our mind, we comment. Minsan sasabihin pa lang, hindi, mali ka kuya. Hindi, tama si ate. Hindi, ganito yan, ganyan yan. Diba? Why? Why am I giving you that scenario? The thing is kasi, if you are not interested dun sa topic na pinag-uusapan yung dalawang tao na yun, malamang sa malamang, you will not listen in the first place. Tama mali. Secondly, if you are not interested on the topic, hindi ka rin magko-comment sa isip mo. Hindi ka sasagot sa isip mo, di ba? Or hindi ka para makikidyon sa kanila just in the mind, di ba? Kasi nga, you are somehow interested. So what is in psychology that makes the course so interesting? Okay? That I'm telling you, right now, hindi kayo magsisisi na ako nyo at you're taking this subject. Okay? One word, guys. One word that makes psychology is an interesting course is what? Because you can relate. Balik tayo din sa jeep. Hindi ka naman makikinig sa topic, hindi ka magko-comment sa topic kung hindi ka nakaka-relate. Kahit strangers yung tao na yun, nakasama mo sa jeep, you don't know them personally, but you still listen to them. Bakit? There is something in the topic that makes it so interesting because you can relate. Nakikits niyo ako? Kasi, diba, kapag hindi naman konektado sa'yo, there is no connection between you or any topic, any person, sa tingin niyo, makikinig kayo, meron kayong pakailam, you will give full attention, you will give your focus, hindi, because it's not interesting and it's not relatable to you. So what's my point? Psychology is a very interesting course because it can relate to you. Kakaintindihan tayo doon, sir. Paano siya makaka-relate sa amin? First time ko nga lang narinig yung psychology. I don't know psychology. Or narinig ko lang siya sa ibang tao. Pero what is psychology ba? That is so interesting that you can relate to it. Let's go with the definition. When we say psychology, psychology is the science of human behavior and mental processes. Okay? So if you're going to look at the definition of psychology, doon pa lang, that's the very first reason why you can relate to any topic that I'm going to discuss from now on to the end of the semester. You can relate. Una-unang sagot is because sa definition pa lang, makaka-relate na kayo. Science, always remember, this is the only definition I'm going to use. Okay, kung under kayo sa akin for general psychology, this is the only definition that we're going to use, nothing more or nothing less. Walang lapis, walang kulang, ito lang. Okay? Para matandaan nyo, kung tinanong kayo, what is psychology? Ito lang po natatandaan. It is the science of human behavior and mental processes. So let's chop this down into pieces for you to understand what is really the essence of psychology and why is psychology so interesting. So let's syempre, ang mga major words dito, you have science. Syempre, di nakasama si O. Kung sino paglalaman pa si O, huwag na. Human, syempre. Then you have behavior. Hindi mo nakasama si N. And you have mental processes. So these are major words or terms that encompasses the essence of psychology. Let's start with science. When we say science, science is a systematized body of knowledge. Meaning to say, whatever I am discussing here, whatever you're gonna hear from me, you're gonna learn from me, whatever I'm going to teach you guys, does it not come from me? Every topic in psychology has been researched, has been tested, has been experimented 1,000 times to prove that they are correct or it's true. Nagets niyo ako? Hindi to haka-haka. Kaya kapag sinabi sa psychology na marunong kami magbasa ng isip, hindi po totoo yun. Bakit? It goes to the process of being a science. Kaya namin magbasa ng isip, pero may prosesong pinagdadaanan. Kasi it is a science. Nagigets niyo ba ako? Kasi nga, everything, you're gonna encounter your topics na medyo weirdo, medyo nakakatakot, medyo malalim talaga, but everything there was tested, proven, was researched 1,000 times again, just to prove that it's true and it's correct. So that is science. Walang kakaka dito, guys, ha? Totoo to. Next, mamaya na si human. Doon tayo sa behavior. When we say behavior, we're talking about your actions. Actions. Okay? Human actions. Movements. Okay? So, when we say action or movements, any movements that you could possibly think of as of this moment, those can be behaviors. For example, yung pagkumpas ng kamay ko or mga gestures ng kamay ko sa video, yung pag-write ko dito sa whiteboard, those are actions. As you watch the blog lecture, that is considered as an action. In psychology, you have two forms of action that you have to remember. First is you have covert, and the second one is you have overt. Overt behavior or actions. When we say covert, the word is cover, meaning to say it's hidden. Hidden or tago. When we say over, the root word is over, meaning to say it's over. Kung na-over siya, meaning to say you can see it or it's seen. Kaya siyang makita ng dalawang mata. Ang problema kasi sa behavior natin, guys, meron kasing behavior na hindi kayang makita ng dalawang mata. At merong behavior na kaya niyong makita. Okay? Doon tayo sa over. Can you think of a behavior na hindi kayang makita ng dalawang mata nyo? Hindi, baka kung anong iniisip nyo, basta hindi kayang makita ng dalawang mata nyo. Right now, you're doing it. You're doing it. Okay? When you're thinking is a good example. When you're thinking, as of the moment, guys, that is an example of a covert behavior because it cannot be seen. What is not seen there is the process of thinking. Hindi katulad ng paghumpas ng kamay ko, kitang-kita niyo yung proseso na galing dito papunta doon. Yung pagpikit ng mata ko galing sa taas pababa. You can see the process of that behavior. But in terms of thinking, you cannot you couldn't see the process. For example, hindi naman porket gumanon, gumanyan, gumanon, or gumanon, you could automatically say that the person is thinking. Hindi. Baka kasi inaantok na siya, patulog na siya. Di ba may mga instances tayo gano'n? Kaya nga thinking is very hard. And the second thing that make thinking a covert behavior is the content of it. You don't know exactly what the other person is thinking. Diba? For example, kung sino ba nanonood nito, hindi ko alam kung ano iniisip niya as of this moment. Maybe what would be your breakfast, what would be your dinner, ano bang gagawin ko mamaya. I don't know. Diba? Kung ano talaga ang content, yung thinking. So that's an example of a covert behavior. Second one is we can have dreaming. Dreaming is a behavior as well that is covert. Okay? Ano ba ang magandang covert behavior natin? We have motivations. Diba? Those are some forms of behaviors na hindi talaga nakikita. Siyempre, ang magaling dito is the covert one. Anything that can be seen by your eyes can be considered as a covert. In psychology, we're going to discuss both forms of behaviors, pero majority is covert, but the most complex na discuss natin throughout the semester, itong mga patago, yung covert, like thinking, cognitive processes, dreaming, diba? Next, so are we clear with behavior? I hope you follow what are behaviors and what are the two types of behaviors. When we say mental process, we're talking about here thoughts. We're talking about your thinking. In psychology, kasi it is not enough. Always remember this, guys. It is not enough that you define psychology as the study of human behavior. No, hindi siya sapat eh. You have to always insert mental processes or mental process. Bakit? These two goes hand in hand. We know that later. Bakit kailangan? Pag pinag-aralan mo si behavior, kasama lagi si mental process. Or hindi pwede si mental process lang at wala si behavior. Why? Here's the answer. It's because of the process itself. It's what we call the IPO. If you remember in your computer subjects, kung nalala niyo si IPO, when you say IPO, when you say I, we're talking about input. When you say P, we're talking about process. And when you say O, we're talking about here output. Actually, this is already the entire thought process, or this is the entire mental process itself. The IPO, the input, the process, and the output. So what does it mean? Okay? When you say input kasi guys, before you do any mental process, bago kayo mag-isip, bago kayo managinip, okay, bago nyo maramdaman ng isang emotion, okay, it has to come from an input. Okay? And where does your input usually comes from? Not usually, always eh. Your input always comes from your environment. Okay? Whatever needs to be processed, bago si process, it must come from something. There should be a source, and that source is the environment. Any forms of environment could be processed and could produce an output. Di ba? And the thing is with the environment, bago kasi siya i-process, it has to go through your senses. Dumadaan muna siya sa senses. So pag meron ng environment, always remember this, pag meron ng environment, the first part of your body to receive the input from your environment would be your senses. Kasi pag wala si senses, nothing would be processed. I hope you're getting my point. For example, right now, you could see me. You could see me. Right now, I am your environment. If you're currently watching the video, right now, I am your environment. Diba? Now, you could process everything what I'm saying because you can see me at the same time, you could hear me. At tingin niyo mapaprocess niyo ba lahat na dinidiscuss ko dito kung hindi niyo ako nakikita at hindi niyo ako narinig. Diba? Another example, let's say, dumaan si Crush. Dumaan ako, crush niyo ako. Parang gano'n, di ba? Dumaan ako, crush niyo ako. Di ba? Nakita niyo ako, naamoy niyo ako, narinig niyo ako, kinilig kayo. Kasi yun yung proseso eh. Di ba? Pero kung hindi niyo ako nakita, kikiligin ba kayo? Di ba? Yan na naman ako. Joke lang guys. Pinapatawa ko lang kayo, baka masyado kayo seryoso sa lecture. So that's input. Okay? That's input. Everything from the environment would be received by your senses for the next process or processing. Okay? And the one to process, which is part of your body, the most powerful organ, I would be considering that the most powerful organ would be your brain. Every process, every information, input data coming from your environment would be received by your senses and would be processed by your brain. Your brain and brain alone. Okay? Siya nagpa-process niyan. We'll discuss brain in detail. That's the next chapter, chapter 2, biological psychology. Going to discuss that the next, okay? And you know how does the brain functions, how important is the brain, how do our brain adjust. Okay, malalaman niya. It's a very interesting topic, medyo technical lang. Okay? And next one, syempre, pag na-process ng yung brain, yung nanggaling kay senses, you have now your output. And what is your output? Your output is your behavior. That is what I mean kanina na hindi nyo pwede paghiwalayin yung dalawa. Kasi sa end process ng mental process is behavior. Kung anong nanggaling ka environment, pinarasis ni brain, sa labas at sa labas, the product of it is your behavior. Diba? Nakita nyo yung kagaling nyo. Environment, na-receive ng senses. Pinarasis ni brain, anong behavior nyo? Lalayuan mo siya. Diba? Magagalit ka. Sasama yung mukha mo. Bakit? Kasi yun yung proseso. Diba? Nagugutom ka. Nakakita ka ng pagkain. Pinarasis ni brain. Anong mangyayari? Kakain ka. IPO. So, mental process. I hope you're getting what I mean, guys. Okay? Kasi nga, in psychology, you're going to understand too. Not only behaviors, but also mental process. So, buhay mo lang ito. Okay? Maybe 30 seconds or so. Okay pa kayo, guys? Sana okay pa kayo? Let's make this enjoyable. Kahit nakahiga kayo, naliligo kayo, pinapanood nyo ako. Diba? Follow my YouTube channel. May YouTube channel po ako. Wala po ka subscriber, isa lang. Follow nyo ako doon, guys. Okay. Anong naiwan natin? Human. Okay? The second reason why your course is very interesting and very relatable. Ano na natin rason? Yung mismong meaning ng psychology. That's the first reason. The second reason why psychology is relatable is because of this. It's because you are human. Bakit? Anyone, sa mga nanonood, taas kamay. Siguro lang lahat naman kayo tao, diba? Yung mga nanonood sa video ko, tao. Maliban na lang ka nanonood sa video ko, aso. Hindi niya talaga ako naiintindihan. For everyone who is watching my vlog lecture is human. Okay? Because if you're not human, you will not be watching this and you will not be taking psychology. Okay? But the thing is, with human, is that yun yung second reason why you can relate it. Because every topic here is related to human. Kasi if you're going to look, kung tatanggalin ko si human, if I'm going to remove human from the definition, ano lalabas? Science of behavior and mental process. So, ano topic natin? Anything that has a behavior or a mental process. Animals has a mental process and has a behavior. Plants, somehow wala namang mental process, pero may behavior, microorganisms have a behavior. Pero hindi yun ang pinag-uusapan sa psychology. Ang pinag-uusapan is very specific. It has to be human. So what is human? Walang tanong ngayon. We know that we're human, but do we know the reason why we are called human? Kasi ang point dito is, alam nating tao tayo, pero hindi natin alam kung paano magpaka-tao. Okay? Kaya nga, the thing is with being human, do we really know to be human? Alam ba natin kung bakit tayo naging tao? Okay? Hindi na natin ito papahabain. The very reason why human is above all species Bakit tayo nasa tuktok? It's not because we have disposable thumbs. We can walk. No, no, no. We don't fly it. Susupa ka lumipad eh. Pero the thing is, what makes human superior for other species is because we are rational. When you say rational, you are also reasoning. You know how to reason, you know how to question. Some forms of species hindi kaya yan rational. Sige nga, aso mo pagalitan mo nagrason. Takbo ka, di ba? Bakit mo ko takbo ka, di ba? Ibon, o wag ka dyan, akalis ka dyan, nagtanong. Di ba? Some forms of species don't really have the rational capacity, don't have the reasoning capabilities or the questioning capabilities. Okay, but the thing is kasi with being rational, it bring us to the top of the food chain. Nandun tayo sa tuktok dahil dito. At the same time, ito rin ang pinakarason kung bakit minsan nakakapagod maging tao. Kasi I would rather be a dog. Just lay down every day, bigyan ako ng pagkain, iinom ako ng tubig, maglalaro ko maghapon, di ba? Kasi bakit? If you're a human being, you have to be human. Meaning to say, every day you have to question. Every day you have to reason. Di ba parang pag ang tao, isang tao, kailangan may tanong araw-araw. At laging kailangan natin maghanap na sagot. Imagine niyo yun. Gigising ka sa umaga, ano magagawin ko? Minsan nakakapagod maging tao. Because we always question. We always need reasons. We always need to be rational. So what's my point? Why am I telling this, guys? That is the very reason why is there psychology. Because you're humans, there's a need for us to understand why. The question is why. Why we behave like that. Why do we think like that? I don't know if you feel this every morning or minsan sa kalagitnaan ng araw. Minsan natatanong mo sa sarili niyo, bakit ko ba ito ginagawa? Not to say, para kayo na ba ako bumabangon na? Pwede rin naman yun. Pero doon tayo sa mga basic question na, bakit ko ba ito ginagawa? Diba? Bakit ganito ako mag-isip? Diba? Bakit napaka-negative thinker ko? Bakit hindi ko matanggal itong ganitong behavior? Hindi ko matanggal yung ganitong thinking. Diba? Naghahanap tayo ng sagot para maintindihan natin ang ating behavior at para maintindihan natin kung bakit ganyan tayo mag-isip because we are human. I know you're feeling this, majority of you are feeling this. Hindi pwede kasi hindi, kahit I'm a graduate of psychology, I'm taking my MA, I'm a life coach, I'm a registered something chuchu. Diba? Nagtatanong pa rin ako, bakit ko ito ginagawa? Bakit ganito ako mag-isip? Diba? There's always a why in terms of our behavior. In terms of why we think. Gets nyo? I hope you're getting this. That's why you need psychology as a course. Because you are human. There's a need for you to understand your own behavior, your own mental processes, for you to understand better kung sino ka para mamuhay ka ng isang totoong tao. Imagine niyo yun. Ang ganda ng benefit ng course. Di ba siya interesting, guys? Diba? Kaya the main part of why you are taking psychology is that for you to understand, for you to give answers to the question why you behave in such a way, why you think in such a way. Kaya tayo, mapagod eh. Bye-bye!